Mike, turn your games down.
Hi, we're here at the TV episode of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who's rebelling against the Empire with me tonight?
It's your buddy Peter Bingham-Pankratz.
And everybody's favorite terrorist origin story, Carusetta, Kerry, Chandler.
And we are here to finally, after waiting 3 years, which I just realized less than 10 minutes ago, Star Wars Andor Season 2 that came out in April 2025 and finished in May of 2025. We are recording this June 1st of 2025.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of Season 1.
Well, thankfully, I rewatched it. I can fill in some gaps if you have questions.
Okay.
I rewatched it before Andor Season 2 premiered, knowing that I would forget some stuff. So, but I had not rewatched it. Yeah, that's fine. That'll get you
after
Me either,
I finished the show.
right.
So it wasn't before, it was after.
Oh yeah, don't they have like a recap like on Disney Plus?
Yeah, I watched that after I finished Season 2.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Order. Yeah, it wasn't really thought out, let's say. I was just like, oh, maybe I should watch the recap now because I don't remember some of this stuff.
Right.
So this was long awaited.
Yeah, long awaited, long delayed. I was, as we were talking kind of before the show, like it was delayed due to the writer's strike or the actor's strike, one of those strikes.
Or both.
Or both, yeah.
That makes sense.
And it had been filming since 2022, I think is when they started filming it. So it's been in the can for a long time. I mean, and it was expensive. It was an expensive show, but maybe not as expensive as some. I'm amazed at how much shows cost these days because they're like, this show costs $350 million. I guess I'm like, all right. I guess they do that sort of thing these days.
I mean, I don't understand how, but yeah, like how to have those margins. Like, how are you profitable?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Disney must find some way to make it profitable. There's no toys.
There's some.
Yeah.
There's Funko Pops.
Oh, Funko Pops. Okay.
I have an Andor Funko Pop actually from Season 1. But yes, there's Funko Pops for Season 2 also, and a few other toys I've seen.
Right.
But not like a huge market. This is not a kid's show.
Right.
No. Even though kids can enjoy it, and I bet I would have enjoyed it as a kid. But yeah, it's not geared to kids for sure.
Kerry, what did your son think of it?
Oh, he loved it. He said it's his favorite thing. It's like he absolutely loved it. Yeah. We watched it. Yeah, we watched it. It took me forever to watch it because we watched it together, and he only wants to watch like one episode at a time. So we watched like one episode and then like 2 or 3 days later watch another one. So
I mean, it's good you did it with it.
Yeah.
I watched almost this whole series on a Saturday.
Wow.
My day was quiet at work and the phone wasn't ringing, so I just had this playing in the background and would pause it whenever something else was going on that needed my attention.
Fair enough.
It wasn't really. It was a holiday Saturday. I forget I think it was Memorial Day weekend or something. We weren't busy, so I was just watching Andor.
Oh, man.
I mean, not the right way to watch this show, per se, but when you got to watch a show for a podcast, you got to watch a show. However you can.
You binge it in one night because, I know, you watch all 3 episodes in a night because you don't want to get spoiled the next day, especially if you have colleagues at work who talk about it, so.
Oh, that would be annoying. I didn't realize this released in arcs until 10 minutes ago. So.
It was like 3, if you live on the East Coast, too, like, it's premiering at what, 9 o'clock or something? So you may not have been able to watch it all in a night on a Tuesday.
That seems too extreme for me, but I get it. People do like to spoil things on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
I wait, but so this show is, as you were saying, really broken into arcs. I did not care for the first arc. I thought that was the weakest link of this entire season. I mean, the season's great, so not much of a weak link, but it was the weakest to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I need to look at the episodes and see what was the first arc. Was that the Gorman one?
That's when it's when he steals the TIE. It's not a TIE Interceptor. I think
right. It's a TIE Avenger.
Avenger,
yeah.
The wedding, Chandler, her daughter's marriage.
The wedding, Chandler, yeah. Which that is, you're definitely like, I can see why that would be not the best. Like I enjoyed it, but it was definitely the weakest just because it's hanging out at a wedding, talking a lot. And we're not getting to see, and so then they have to just keep going back to this action with Andor, which is very like just random,
Right.
Well, he's tied up for a good chunk of that arc too, because it starts off with him stealing the TIE Avenger, which is awesome, and then he gets trapped by other rebels who don't know who he is, and we're just watching them be idiots to each other, and I didn't really like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's just them being idiots. And it's just like this it's just very random, has nothing to do. It isn't furthering anything. It's not furthering the plot or anything. And even that, the TIE Avenger, him stealing that just turns out to be, just a random, mission. It's not like it was like something important to the overall plot of the series. It was just like, also he got a TIE Avenger. Cool. And then that's done. We're done with that.
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't understand the point.
It didn't bother me, but I could see why it would bother people.
It's kind of, yeah, I think you made a good point of saying like the constant infighting among the rebels with all them being idiots is kind of tedious. I don't think it almost overstayed its welcome for me. The Yavin stuff, spoilers, it's on Yavin, which they...
I did not know that until
he
today
flies
when
away.
I watched some stuff.
Right.
I didn't catch the temples when he flies by that it was Yavin.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah.
No.
No, I did. And I was like, oh, it's Yavin. What do you know?
I mean, at some point they have to get there eventually, and
Right, which they do.
it makes sense. And they don't go into how they settled it. They don't say like, oh, Cassian Andor found this great planet. If they don't say anything like that, they just kind of are there on Yavin. So
Yeah. They just got there.
Which makes sense.
I mean, I don't know if he even told them about Yavin or they just knew about it.
There are
Like, it was
parts.
one of those planets.
Yeah, there are parts in these three. I'm just looking at the plot guides. So there are parts in these first three episodes that are really great, including the conference with Krennic.
Yes.
Oh,
Which
I got
is-
comments.
I'm sure Kerry has comments.
And Peter wrote us too. Yeah. I mean, have you seen that movie they made of that about the? Is it Conspiracy at Nuremberg? Is that what it's called?
It's just called Conspiracy. It has
Conspiracy.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yes. Where it's about that this famous meeting where these Nazi high command got together to solve the Jewish question, and so they're and it's like they're hanging, and I don't know. I assume the movie is accurate, but they're all the room they're in is like exactly like the room that they're in this.
Oh,
Right.
it's a reference to that.
Yes,
Right.
I think
It's
so.
definitely,
has
it
to be.
definitely is. Yeah.
I was watching the thing that was supposed to also reference the eagle's nest too, because you look out and you see the mountains.
Yeah,
Right,
I think the Eagles nest may be where they had that meeting. I'm not sure.
I should know
I
my
think it was
In the
Wannsee.
movie, say again.
I think it's called the Wannsee Conference. It was
Okay,
at
that's what it's called.
a villa or something. It was at like a house.
Yeah. But yeah, in the movie with Kenneth Branagh and all that, it's very much like that, where you have these Nazi officers sitting around a table in front of a big picture window looking out at the mountains. And one Nazi officer, Adolf Eichmann, I think, played by Branagh, is like standing up and explaining to them, okay, this is the problem. This is the deal. We have to figure out what to do about the Jews. And then they come up with the plan for the Holocaust, for specifically the final stage of the Holocaust for the death camps. And so it was very much a reference to that, which I thought was very on the nose, but in a good way. I liked it a lot. I loved when the propaganda guys. I love the propaganda guys that are just like, you just imagine they're not even necessarily like they probably aren't even like ideologically give a crap. They're just like these were ad guys, these were campaign guys before the Empire, and they've got a gig. They're gonna just run a disinformation campaign and make people throughout the galaxy not be sympathetic to people in Gorman. So we can do some genocides or whatever.
And they do.
Gorman gets destroyed, right?
I mean, they strip mine at such the point where it's uninhabitable.
Where it's uninhabitable, yeah.
Okay, but that we don't really see that in here, but that's what happens.
It happens in between arcs. It happens in between the second and third arc.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Or maybe the third and fourth arc. I don't remember. But
it's near the end, though. I wasn't sure because it's like...
it's between the third and fourth arc. It happens between episode 9 and episode 10.
Right, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's where there's a 1 year time jump, and then that's the last 1 year time jump, I guess, because there's a couple.
And they do reference that throughout the show. They reference the Gorman propaganda, and they have people say like, "Oh, I can't believe Gormans have been doing this all these years, or like blocking our shipments or whatever." Like you have like people, individual people in the Empire, like say like, "Oh, the Gormans are so nasty to us" or whatever.
Yeah, they're so arrogant. They're so full of themselves. This is bound to happen eventually.
Right.
Yeah, it's very like you just imagine this is like absolute like this kind of meeting and this like these sales pitch. This is absolutely happens like happening.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, but in today's world, it would happen on Signal Chat now. But
yeah, exactly.
100% happens. And you can, I mean, that was some. I didn't understand what was happening at first with Gorman. Like I was like, wait a sec. Oh, they're gonna kill the planet. Like where Deidre, is that her name?
Deidre, or Dedra. I also really enjoyed in that meeting at the beginning of it when they played the like government made like tourism reel for Gorman.
Right. Yeah. And
it was very like 1960s like
like
style.
a newsreel. Yeah.
Yes, it was great. Like I loved it. That was just such a nice touch.
Yeah, Star Wars is a weird way where it's like set in space, but it's always like the 50s or the 60s, you know.
Yeah, which I love. That's that
Yeah.
retrofuturism stuff, kind of VHS futurism. And then the other thing I was going to say is Gorman is in the comics or is in the Legends. It was it's not canon, but they made it canon with this.
Yeah, I forget it might have been from like a source book or something. It's been around a while because I know in one of the books they mentioned the Gorman Massacre, the first one, which I do reference in the show, where Grand Moff Tarkin lands his ship on a crowd of people and kills like 500 of them.
Yeah, which is insane. Just a crowd of protesters just land your ship on top of them.
Right.
Wow.
You know, if Tarkin was real, somebody would be like, "Hey, that's a smart idea."
Well, I mean, there are people like Tarkin in history and in the real world. So.
I mean, they were breaking the law. They were illegally demonstrating. They were told to disperse.
Yeah.
I like how you never see Tarkin in this, but he is referenced. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was smart because I think they probably know how people feel about the like CGI Tarkin.
Right.
Which I think for sure because we get Benjamin Bratt as Leia's dad.
Bail Organa.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to make it.
Right. Which is fine.
Yeah, no, well that's great because Jimmy Smith is like 80. Benjamin Bratt is like the right age.
Right. Yeah.
And he looks like a younger Jimmy Smits, I think. Like I thought immediately I was like, "Oh, they put Benjamin Bratt in there. Awesome. I love Benjamin Bratt." He was on Law and Order. He was on Law and Order and Miss Congeniality.
Yeah, it was a smart move to recast. If you have such a beautiful character, just recast it and don't try and do some deep fake monstrosity.
They need to always just recast. No more deep fake, no more de-aging crap. Just recast from now on.
And they set it up with a nice scene where they just say, he meets Mon Mothma and they say, "Oh, hi, Bail, Senator Organa." So that's why you tell the audience this is a new actor we know.
Yeah.
This is who the character is.
There's a large part of the audience who has no idea who that is.
Right.
Because I guarantee Andor is a big enough show that there are people who don't watch Star Wars that watch this and enjoy it. Like, right. I bet a lot of people that watch this are not like, if they're Star Wars fans, they know like Luke and Han, they know Kylo Ren maybe. They don't know Bail Organa.
Right. That's a second tier.
They don't know Mon Mothma. Yeah.
And if you know who Wolf Yularen is, that means you're incredibly, even more nerdy. There's a third tier of nerdiness.
Yeah, that's like
Yularen is.
That's like comic book level, right? He's in the comics.
He's in Clone Wars too.
He's Clone Wars. Okay.
Yeah, he's in Clone Wars for sure. He's probably in the comics too, but he's in Clone Wars. He works at Anakin a lot, and then he joins the Empire.
And is Wolf his rank? It's like below
his name.
That's his name. Yeah. Yeah.
First name is Wolf.
Yeah, I know they just mention him. They're like Grand Moff Tarkin and Wolf Yularen or blah blah blah. Very interested in this or something.
He is in season 1, very briefly. He shows up after the raid. He shows up and gives a speech calling about the martial law or the new directive. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they couldn't kill him off. I think they need. I mean, he might show up in other stuff later. I mean, when you're playing this game with characters, you got to be careful who you can kill and who you can't kill. Because some people have to die at different times.
Some characters. This is a good thing about Andor and any prequel show. You have some characters with plot armor because they can't die till later. But you have enough characters that they're introduced that you don't know what's going to happen to them. Like anybody beyond like Andor and K2SO are like fair game. Will they live or die? You never know.
Yeah.
And Mon Mothma, I guess. Well, Mon Mothma's not going to die, but
yeah, Bix could get her own show. Never know.
Right.
I mean, I'd watch it. Who am I kidding? I watch.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't necessarily want it though.
I don't want it, but I'll watch it.
I mean, guaranteed characters from this will show up in some other property at some point. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I was really glad that they took this right up to the edge of Rogue One. So because as much as I love the show, it doesn't need a third season. It told its story.
Right.
And I appreciated that they didn't give themselves room for a third season. They said, nope, here we are.
I would rather to have this shorter, I'd rather have this 12 episode series than not have it, or have it be canceled, or have it like a character actor die or something so they can never complete it.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful
Exactly.
that they 2 seasons of greatness.
Yeah,
As
I'm a
opposed-
big fan of just like self-contained series where it's like you get one season, and
Right.
if you get another season, cool, you could tell a different story, but you don't need it. The story was done. We're good. Instead of the like kind of mystery box stuff. I mean, like, what if Severance gets canceled? Like that show just is like drops you off. It's like, all right, yeah, maybe. Who knows what's happening here? We'll never know, probably.
Right. Or Stranger Things, which is being
Yeah,
drawn
God.
out. Yeah.
Fucking
Finally
Stranger
wrapping up
Things.
this year.
They won't let it die.
Those kids are pushing 30 at this point, I'd say.
They're getting close, yeah.
Yeah, they are. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why it took fucking so long to make that show.
Yeah.
I don't understand, but that's I mean, this 3 years was too long, but like it worked. Having it been 3 year wait, like I didn't realize that it was 3 years.
Nothing seemed. I mean, it's not like they rushed the effects or anything. Like some shows, you feel like they do that, but this one didn't. So
It was better for that.
yeah, I mean, it's
Everything
had quality.
Good.
Everything does look good. Yeah.
I mean, some things happened the way I knew they had to. Like I knew Luthen wasn't coming out of the show alive.
Oh
He couldn't.
well.
yeah.
Well,
There was no way.
That's kind of, and he kind of says that he sets it up by saying, he's never gonna, he's never gonna see the results of his work. Basically, he gives the huge speech in the
First season.
In the first season, yeah, a sunrise he'll never see. Stellan Skarsgård does it much better than me, but yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. I love Stellan Skarsgård and everything he's in.
Right. Yeah.
He's in the first Thor movie.
He's in the Thor. Yeah, he's in Thor. He's in Dune. I mean, not to mention all the Swedish films he's done.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, every actor in this is great. By singling out Stellan Skarsgård, I hope he gets an Emmy nomination, or at least for this.
I really hope so. They don't like to do genre stuff very much.
No, that's true. But I think the acting in this is great. All the I mean, Mon Mothma deserves an Emmy too for Genevieve O'Reilly.
Great in this. Like,
yeah.
I mean, there are scenes that I appreciated for what they were. Like the parts, like when they do a lot of in this show where they contrast between like people, like the rich dancing and showing how the poor are living. They do that constantly in this, and it's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, just showing the different levels of the rebellion. And I did not realize that one guy that gets in the car, he didn't come back.
Oh, Tay Colma, yeah.
Yeah, because you don't see him again, and then you see the driver is the woman from the first season that was in the heist, and you're like, yeah, he ain't coming back.
Yeah, I mean, Luthen says that he's like, he basically is like, Mon Mothma, you have to kill this guy because he's blackmailing you. So he's a security risk, and I like that they don't show it. It's a mystery, kind of what happens. Maybe he got into maybe the speeder crashed. Maybe they arranged some sort of accidental death or something like that. But
it's never mentioned again.
She mentions him. She mentions the guy because she says
she mentions it later.
She mentions it later, but they don't say like, they don't say what happened. They just left to be a mystery, which is good. You don't have to show everything for the audience.
Yeah.
No, we didn't need to know that he took a blaster to the face or something. Like,
right.
That's fine. I would have liked to know, but I didn't realize he died until I was like, whatever happened to him? And I watched a video today, and I'm like, oh yeah, they murdered him.
Right. I mean, it shows you the gritty side of rebellion, because rebellion's not all clean, and it's a war.
I mean, they never are. Anything in history, all rebellion. I mean, hell, Revolutionary War, for example, with our country back. That's not pretty what they did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They never are. War, that's war. I mean, and I thought this show did such a good job of showing how the rebellion starts in Star Wars, and how like when he goes to Yavin, when Andor's there, and he talks about, there's one comment, he's like, if I have to fill out paperwork to leave, I'm not going to stick around anymore. And they're like, that's coming soon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're like, it's getting to be crunch time. They know they're going to have to make a move soon. The rebels know this. So like,
they do.
Soon it's going to be the time when we're going to have to crack down. But yeah, they know, that like Rogue One has to be like that's the first like real battle, I think, as the opening crawl for Star Wars says. The rebels just won their first victory. So you have to have, that's like the level you can't get to yet, but you have these smaller scale victories where it's like, these are basically commando raids on places and so, etc., leading up to the big battle.
The Empire still doesn't really believe in much of the Rebel Alliance either. I mean, you just have, look at Saw Gerrera in this.
Right.
Yeah. Man, I love Saw Gerrera. He's the most, to me, he's one of the most like realistic characters in the series.
Right. He is like, he's He knows what has to happen to get this stuff.
He is like a very much what like an actual like rebel leader would be like, I think.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I think he was designed to be what like Bin Laden, like Che Guevara, or like even you can analogous to be Bin Laden or somebody. So
yeah,
that's fair. I mean, Che Guevara is one of the famous that picture that they had that they always show of him, even though that guy did not have a good ending to his life at all. But
he died fighting. I mean, he was executed or whatever. But that's the life of a guerrilla. It's the life of a guerrilla fighter. You know, you don't expect to die like peacefully. So
no, he got executed. It wasn't even in Cuba. No, Castro didn't even like him at the end. Well, I watched a lot of Cuban documentaries too. So.
Yeah.
I love knowledge. I found out. So I'm constantly trying to learn new stuff.
Good.
I watched like 6-hour documentaries about Cuba a few times. That's neither here nor there.
I was just trying to think of what else. I was trying to think of the first arc. So I'll just go through. So it was the wedding, the Yavin stuff, and then there's they're on Mina Rao, which is the wheat planet, basically.
I thought that was cool to see that, because we've never seen like a planet that's just about producing food, which makes sense. I mean, you're feeding a gigantic empire.
Yeah, you would absolutely have to have those, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
So I thought that was cool for us to finally get it to view that for the first time.
Right, yeah. And it was definitely like it was like a idyllic setting. Well, it's not idyllic, but who was doing the work? Like immigrant refugees.
Undocumented specifically. Yeah, it was very like of our time, I think. This show in general is very of our time.
Oh god.
Yeah, and it came out the stuff about people being deported to El Salvador was in the news more, March and April, but still it's around. And like it came out right as that stuff was kind of ramping up.
Yeah.
The show released at the perfect time with the US being nuts.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And they definitely, it's explicit, like these people are undocumented and they're being hunted by the Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do a parallel that's more on the nose, but it's
it's really something.
Yeah.
I really liked it. I didn't even think about the fact that like they're like you said, undocumented refugees that are just trying to live a life and work with the work that needs to be done. They even make comments like, we don't have enough workers.
But to be fair, there are also some terrorists among them. So
yes. He did steal the TIE Avenger and then blows up people.
Yeah.
So terrorist does come and wipe out the stormtroopers in episode 3, but that's neither here nor there. They're righteous. That's the thing, though.
That's when it starts getting good, though. Like that episode.
Oh man, that was good. Yeah.
But also using the thing that you stole, I felt like that would get people's attention that you don't want. But then again, it never comes up. Plus, the TIE, they picked a ship that never even really gets used either, because the TIE Avenger was too expensive, so it never even goes into production really.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Rebels, they talk about it. There's a plant on I think that's a TIE Defender. I think it's a TIE Avenger. That's it. They start to produce it, but then it's too costly, and they're like, no, we're not doing it. It's the same in the. I want to say with the TIE Avenger, the thing that the witch, I can't remember her name, that was in that little short that we watched, Carry, Tales of the Empire. I think that's the ship she was trying to create, and they're like, this is too expensive.
That's right. That is exactly what it was. But that was Visions, though, right? That was Visions season 2?
No, that was Tales of the Empire.
Oh, that was Tales of the Empire, which is canon.
One's canon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I want to say in Rebels, they're making the plant Lothal, and it's not going well. If I remember correctly. But it's been a bit since I watched Rebels.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a few little Rebel, I don't know, Easter eggs so much as references.
I mean,
in the show, so
episode of Rebels that you're supposed to watch after you finish episode 9 of this show to see where it goes.
Oh, really? Where she goes to meet Gold Squadron?
Yes, that's in Rebels.
Yeah. She ends up on the ship with Hera and them.
Yeah. And then she broadcasts that speech while she's being hunted by the Empire.
And is that the speech they're watching in episode 10?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that speech
where she says
on the ship.
True, where the terror that we've been hiding from is Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. Oh, it is so well done.
That's what. Yeah. I thought it was great. Yeah.
I think everything else to say about the first arc. Anything else you want to mention, Peter?
They use the first use of the word rape in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I mean, when the Imperials tries to rape Bix on the planet, and that was that caused a little bit of a discourse online.
Yeah, the worst people on the internet were very upset about it.
Right, exactly. As is to be expected. But it's like Tony Gilroy, the writer, was like, rape is a part of war throughout history. You know,
Yeah.
even in the Star Wars universe. Sorry to say, they're fascist Nazis. What else do you expect of them?
Yeah. Are you upset that the bad guys are doing this? Like, what the hell?
I feel like there are people who are siding with the Empire more and more.
I
That
mean,
in the
In
last
real
few
life,
years.
yeah.
They're like, hey, the Empire's the good guy.
yeah, there's a clear choice, but on part of some people to side with the Empire for reasons that they know are. Yeah.
Was this anger on Twitter?
It was all over.
Okay.
It's Reddit. It's just all of social media was just full of young men angry that rape exists in Star Wars, because it's just one more example that Star Wars has gone woke. And it's like, I'm pretty sure Star Wars has always been woke, guys.
Right. Yeah.
It's about fighting fascism.
Yeah, they blow up the Nazis. You know. Yeah.
Oh god, people are stupid.
People are just extremely stupid. Some certain segment of the population is extremely stupid.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was, and the famous now iconic scene of Mon Mothma dancing was really good. To the Neomos music from the first. There's that really catchy tune that was in the first season, and they did that for the scene where Mon Mothma gets drunk and started dancing around as she knows.
Drunk and it's like a rave. She's rave dancing. I was like, this is great. They even have a little disco ball. They have a Star Wars disco ball.
It was a good scene.
Yeah,
it was great. Yeah, I think it just shows that like she's so, you know, she knows she's heavy. She's way down by the heaviness of what she's doing. So she's like, just let it go this one time. Maybe she can forget it. Maybe she
married off her daughter.
Yeah, she's married off her daughter. She also knows that Luthen is going to kill this guy. Right. Specifically because he's blackmailing her, that she's put herself in a position where she can be blackmailed, so this guy then has to die.
And it was like a childhood friend or something, too.
Yeah. It was.
A friend that her husband assumed she was sleeping with.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I did not catch that.
When he accuses her, she goes, oh, wow, it's been a while since I've heard this particular fiction. Go ahead.
Right. She's so good.
It's like they so clearly hate each other. I love, in the montage at the end of the series, they show him like in his little limousine with that other woman.
Right, yeah.
It's with the guy's wife that got murdered.
It's the guy's wife. And she's like got her head on his shoulder or on his chest. So she's clearly, they're together now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, her husband got
Which
murdered.
I'm surprised that the Empire didn't arrest him and put him in like a torture prison for his wife running away and inspiring the rebellion.
Supposedly, there's a deleted scene where he makes a comment. He's like, I knew what you were doing. I was questioned every week, but I didn't say anything.
Oh.
But they didn't keep it in.
Yeah, they decided not to give him any redeeming qualities, which is fine.
Right.
He's like one of the most unlikable characters on the show, I think.
Well, his hair didn't help it. He had a man bun, didn't he?
He does have a man bun, yes.
So, right there. But no, he's very unlikable. He just seems very cold to her, too, which happens.
Well, and just a frivolous person. He's just a frivolous rich person who is completely fine with the Empire. He's not ideological. He just does, he just is enjoying his rich lifestyle. And so why would he oppose it?
Yeah, why would he want rebellion? I mean, he can, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And then...
No, it was, episode 4 is when they start all the Gorman stuff.
Yeah, when they actually get Gorman Planet, yeah.
That's that episode, Ever Been to Gorman, which I love, is a great title.
Yeah, that is a good title, yeah.
And Cyril comes back in this. That idiot.
Yeah. I loved Cyril's little arc in this because Cyril's whole thing from beginning to end is he's just like a good cop. He's just like, he was a good cop and he got punished for being a good cop. Being good at being a cop is what I mean to say, right? Like, I don't mean that he's like a good person necessarily, but I think he's like he's a moral person. He has like a moral code, and you might not agree with his moral code, but he's very dedicated to that moral code. Yeah. And he's very true to that. He's not corrupt. He's kind of incorruptible, which is the problem. and keeps getting him shit on, but his skills gain him the attention of Dedra, who gets horny for him. And so we get to see them together at the beginning of the show. And it almost like tries to make you sympathetic for them, especially for her. Yeah, and it's like, no, I'm not gonna ever be on her side. Like, I'm sorry, show. I'm not gonna be sympathetic for Dedra. But she's just a really good Nazi. She's just like really good at being a Nazi and is held back by incompetent Nazis.
I mean, Gorman is all her idea. Like she makes a comment, she's like, we just need a pair of rebels to do the wrong thing.
Yeah, she's the one who comes up with the perfect plan for Gorman. Yeah, and then
she doesn't see the point of it all, but she kind of gets. They make a point that it's part of Gaz, her kind of the leader of the ISB major or whatever, says like it's a gift from Krennic. Like he sees her potential and he puts her in charge of this thing that's not clear to anyone why they're doing this in the beginning, but she goes along with it because, like you said, she's a good Nazi. So
are they kind of like the Gestapo or the SS? I guess is what the ISB is supposed to be a reference to.
Yeah, they're the Gestapo.
Okay, yeah, like the SS, the Gestapo are those?
They're the Gestapo. They're the KGB. They're the CIA.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're all of it. The stuff they're doing, like so much of the stuff they're doing, is shit the CIA, has done historically, and so it's very because that's the thing is the Empire is. They're based off the Nazis, but they're also the USSR and the United States, but, depending on what metaphor you want to do at the time.
Right. British Empire, etc.
Yeah.
All governments, right. A lot of power.
Yeah, all empires, I guess. Even if you don't call yourself an empire, behave like that.
Right.
USA is close to one at this point. I mean, we're trying to take over Greenland and Canada. Come on now. So, I mean, that's kind of what, an empire does. They try to get more land.
Well, yeah, you project power and you have resources and you get resources when you can. And if a country that has something you want and they're not going to give it to you, then you find a way to turn the people against them. So,
right.
Yeah, that's what they're doing in Gorman, or AKA Space France.
Yeah, I like that she, I like that she protects Cyril from his mom, but then she has no problem using Cyril for the Gorman thing without telling him what they're actually doing.
Right.
Because she knows that he actually is honorable, and so he won't actually be okay with what she needs him to do. So which is not clear at first that she's lying to him, I think, but then it becomes clear. Oh
yeah, it becomes very clear she's 100% knows what's going on, and he's setting up this plan, not realizing that this whole planet is going to die.
Yeah. Well, because he thinks the plan is they're just using Gorman as like a honeypot to catch outside agitators, but actually they're purposely trying to bring in outside agitators.
Yeah.
It's not to catch them, but to get them to do the thing.
And I like, it's interesting that Andor also is he doesn't get why Luthen's interested in Gorman. Right. Luthen's interested because he wants like a martyr planet. He knows what's going to happen. He wants like a planet to be a spark to the rebellion.
Right. So it's kind of funny. He and Dedra want the same thing,
right?
But for different reasons,
exactly.
And neither of them knows what the other is up to.
Right. Yeah. It's a very interesting parallel there.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the little stuff. I like Cyril's office stuff where he's like in charge of this little ISB office or this little office on the planet. He acts all huffy when the ISB comes through there and like tears everything off.
Right. And he's like a good boss. Like his employees like him.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it was such a good.
He's a hard worker. He's not a bullshit manager. He's like a hardworking guy who's in there working with them and has their back and stuff.
Yeah.
And we see how Cyril could have had, if he had not gotten wrapped up with Dedra, he could have maybe actually had like a good career,
Yeah.
And not gotten wrapped up in all this stuff and all this violence.
Yeah. He could have been a rebel. He could have possibly gone over to the rebel side at some point.
Yeah.
Had events not occurred. You could see it. It wasn't going to happen in the show, but you could see a little bit. Maybe another nudge might have done it. So. Yeah,
maybe, but he likes order and rules. He's such a rule follower, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I also like this. It's during this.
He doesn't take it well when he realizes what's happening to Gorman, that it was all set up and he was a pawn.
Right.
Like, I know the comment is that he would become a rebel. And I mean, there's a chance the rebellion gets pretty organized later on.
Well, it's not a chance for him.
I mean, now he takes a blast to the face.
No, he gets shot in the head. But I was going to say, like, he realizes he's been betrayed. He's walking away. But when he sees Andor, he just goes right back to season 1. It's like, oh, that's the guy. Got to get him.
Right. And you have the assumption that he knows he's been looking for outside agitators. And that's what he thought. And he sees one there. He's like, he is here. Like, the outside agitators are really there. It's that guy that I really hate who doesn't even know who I am.
Right. I love that. Yeah. Cassian doesn't even know who this guy is.
Like, who are you?
Been following him since literally the first episode of the series.
Right. And that's the title of the episode was Who Are You? Which you don't know until the end. That's why the title is that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It sure is.
Yeah, and I love the fact that he gets killed by one of the Gorman people that he was essentially betraying without realizing it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who he had kind of come to care about.
Yeah, and he
Right.
just shoots him in the fucking face.
Right. Yeah.
I loved it.
What a way
I
to
also during the second arc, this is when we get to drop in with Saw Gerrera and his team.
Right.
Their base, they used the set from the Rebel base from Force Awakens.
Right. Yeah.
It's like the same. It's like the same outdoor. It's like I don't know. It's probably like an actual like aircraft hangar somewhere.
It's supposed to be the same planet too.
Was it supposed to be the same one?
Yes.
And the
that's what
idea
you
is
told
just
me.
that 30 years later, or 30 years later, Leia decided, oh yeah, I'll use Saw Gerrera's old base. Okay,
Right.
that's fine. Whatever. But we get to see his crew. He's got one of those Gagarin guys that I think we've only seen in animation up to this point.
Oh, I'm not getting
Or there might have been they're big, like they look like sloths. They look like a sloth mixed with an abdominal snowman. They're like big white hairy. They're big white hairy of like long flowing white hair and kind of a sloth face. They wear like a breathing mask or something. The ones that we've ever seen anyway always have like a mask on to breathe or something.
Yeah. I know what they look like, but yeah, I can picture it.
Yeah, the one in this one I looked it up on Wikipedia is Moroff is his name. He's
Okay.
Moroff, and he's in Rogue One.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in Rogue One. Never mind.
I guess they kind of had to do that since so much of this leads up to Rogue One. And now we know what Saw Gerrera was huffing in Rogue One, Radium.
Oh, he's in an episode of Rebels also.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Rebels
but
is
anyway.
very important, by the way.
But I love it because he's got like freaking like minigun like from Predator. Just straight up, it just looks like a minigun from Predator with a big backpack. He looks. I don't know. I just love it.
He's prepared.
But I like the whole thing with Saw's team and the guy that. Gosh, what is his name? That is one of the spies that part of Cassian's group from season 1. Who they sent Wilman.
Yes, the kid.
Luthen sends Wilman to teach Saw Gerrera's lieutenant how to like configure the machine for extracting the Rhodonium, which if it does it wrong, then it'll blow you up. So you have to do it just right. So he has to teach him how to do it. But for some reason, like the code is different for every different, like there's like different configurations depending on where what planet you're going to. And the guy keeps saying, well, if you just tell me what planet we're going to, then I could just learn that one. And I, as soon as he said it the first time, I was like, oh, I bet that guy's like a spy for the Empire. Right. And Saul also figured it out, so which I loved. Right. And so shoots the guy, and Woman's like, oh shit, I'm never going to get to leave these people, am I?
That was a good scene, because the guy's like, yeah, don't kill him. Because, the spy wouldn't want you to kill him, want to go back to wherever he's headed, so you can then follow him. And
right.
So good. He's like, does he know how to do it? Or can you do it without him? I don't know. Okay, and he just shoots him.
Yeah, and then in the next episode, we finally get the backstory to why Saw Gerrera has a breathing problem. Is that he grew up having to huff a space gasoline. He grew up having to breathe it wherever I remember where he said he grew up, but he grew up at a place where they like mined it, and so he was just like constantly getting the vapors, and they're like ruining his lungs.
It's from a Clone Wars episode.
So he's got black lung. Oh, okay. It was explained in Clone Wars.
He's in the Clone Wars originally. And then he just kept on going. Well, he's in Rogue One first, but they kept him in everything. Like, I'm surprised how big that character becomes. So
yeah, I mean, Saw Gerrera is great. He's in Jedi
Fallen Order.
Yeah, Fallen Order. I don't know if he's in Survivor or not.
Well, I bought that recently on a sale, so next year we'll find out.
Yeah, I started Survivor, but it came out right before Tears of the Kingdom, and so I dropped it for Tears of the Kingdom, and then just didn't come back to it. So I need to get back to it. So
I'll give you an excuse next year, I promise.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I love all the stuff with Saw Gerrera. Like I would definitely be in favor of like a Saw Gerrera series. Also, if we're gonna be doing series.
I hope so.
I wouldn't
mind more.
Yeah, I'd definitely watch it.
No, all the stuff with Gorman was so good, and like just setting up what's going on, and the stuff with like the fact that all the stuff with the spiders. I don't know. I really like seeing the dried spiders in the suitcase. Just amused me for some reason.
Yeah, it's a funny little bit, I guess.
Yeah, and they brought Vel and Cinta back together finally, and they sleep together. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, Cinta's gonna die then, probably by the end of this episode. And then also Vel's like telling him, anybody brings a blaster and I kill you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, one of these guys is going to bring a blaster and Cinta's going to die. And what do you know? That's exactly what fucking happens.
Yeah. Don't set up something in dialogue unless there's going to be a payoff is the kind of the writer's motto. So you knew something.
Payoff.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was going to die.
Oh, yeah, no, they don't. I mean, there is kind of a trope of kill the lesbian. Like TV shows don't let happy lesbian couples survive. You think Sandy and ER or Tera and Buffy, spoilers, sorry, for shows from the 90s and 2000s. Yeah, it's like, no, that's not going to happen. They're not going to let these two characters be happy together.
Right.
They broke them up, kept them apart. Now, if they let them get back together, the other one's going to die. In fact, you think about it, that's what happens in Buffy. Tara and Willow break up, and then they get back together, and Tara dies at the end of the episode that they get back together in.
Isn't it Dark Willow that kills her?
No, that's what creates Dark Willow.
Okay.
Oh, it's one of the nerd guys is just angry and he's going to shoot Buffy, and then he runs away and shoots the gun in the air as he's running off, and a stray bullet goes through the bedroom window and kills Tara.
Okay, it's that season.
And that's what creates Willow. Yeah, it's the end of season 6. That's what creates Dark Willow. Yeah.
Okay, season 6 is so stupid.
Oh, season 6 is, I think, the best season.
It's been a while, so maybe I might not remember. I just remember those guys being dumb, but it has.
Oh, no, they are dumb. They're the worst big bads, but it's
okay. It's been a long time.
It's a deep season, but anyway. But back to this. Yeah. So what a festive evening. I also like the whole thing with Clea trying to get the bug out of the.
Oh, that was good.
And she's like cutting, like her hand is like bleeding as she's like trying to break this. Like, was
that during this part? This arc?
Yeah, it's in the same episode.
Oh,
the same one that Cinta dies in.
That was really well done with Lonnie, who's the one from the ISB. That's
yeah.
Why is he working with Luthen?
Jung. So I don't know if they ever explain. It was in the first season.
Yeah.
And I know that he wants to get out and that he has kids. He has a wife and kids.
Yeah.
And that Luthen has promised him he'll get him out. But I think he's probably just like someone who had a crisis of conscience.
Yeah. Having just watched season 1, they don't explain it. He's just a mole. Like he's a sympathetic to the rebellion. So like Kerry said, he probably had a change of heart at some point. So
okay.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that the ISB probably in some form predated the Empire, right? It was probably the Republic probably had their own version of the ISB. It was probably called the ISB, and then it just transitioned into the Imperial, or well, it wasn't called that because the I is probably Imperial, but you know what I mean? Like it was.
Yeah, they had their own.
You don't just all of a sudden just create it and like, all right, now we're going to have experienced spy masters, and intelligence officers
for a while.
From nowhere, right? That had to be a thing that existed for who knows, centuries, probably millennia.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be people in it, and the Empire has only existed as the Empire at this point for what, 15 years, 12 years?
Yeah. Not very long.
15 years or so, yeah.
15 years or so. So you got to figure someone older, which he's not that old, but he's old enough. He probably was in the ISB when it was part of the Republic. And then it just, it's kind of the like frog in the boiling water, doesn't know it's, you turn it up slowly kind of thing. You don't realize, you don't realize, like one day you look around and like, wait, am I a Nazi?
Right.
You got to figure out, are we the bad guys now? Are we the bad guys? When I joined this, we were a democracy.
Right.
Still. I mean, technically, there's still a democracy until a couple of days after this season.
Yeah, until Palpatine disbands the Senate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very soon after this, right? After the end of it.
I mean, that's within hours or days of Rogue One ending. So yeah.
Oh yeah, because
it's the pretty much the beginning of
New Hope
of episode 4. Yeah, New Hope.
Yeah, that's
pretty close to the beginning.
He says the Senate has been disbanded, and now the regional governors are in charge. So there's no more like legislature to check the Emperor's power. Yeah,
because you had it right.
That one guy that Vader chokes out is ranting about how the Senate will never allow this.
Right. Yeah.
and Moff Tarkin walks in and goes, "The Senate has been dissolved."
Right. Yeah.
And I'm assuming Mon Mothma's speech didn't help very much.
Well, it inspired people,
Yeah. So it didn't help the Senate very much, like to stick around.
No.
But no, it's still another year later. Because she leaves. Mm-hmm. You get her speech at the end of this arc, episode 9.
Yeah, and then
it's a year later from the last arc.
Yeah,
I would just assume in the universe, like Mon Mothma, like she was just one senator, and so like Palpatine was definitely very angry, but like he still needed the Senate to like have the appearance of being in part. So
she's just one person,
right? But it took like the rebels winning their victory and stealing Death Star plans to be like, okay, this is an emergency. We're getting rid of the Senate now.
Yeah, and Bail Organa is like leading the Empire, but then his teenage daughter, is acting as senator in his stead at the beginning of the original trilogy. So
Yeah, New Hope.
yeah,
I'm surprised it didn't mention Leia at all. Like even
No.
his like daughter.
not a mention.
They were supposed to.
They were.
She
Okay.
was an early draft, but then they cut her out.
I mean, I'm fine with her not appearing, but I was imagining.
I don't want her to appear. I don't want a CGI homunculus.
Right,
of
would have
character.
gotten that.
Not again. But I did want her to. I'm surprised they didn't. I assumed he was going to be like, all right, well, I'm going to get this message to my daughter, blah blah blah, or something.
Right.
But nope, nothing.
He does kind of say that in Rogue One. So they do have that. They do have that cutesy introduction, like "I trust her with my life," is what he says. If you watch Rogue One again, you'll see.
Right.
So maybe they didn't want to just reference it like that because they already did it. So
they're like, "Can you trust the person? Can you trust the person, the agent or whatever?" And he's like, "I trust her with my life."
right, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then it turns out to be her. Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So then we get the next arc. It's a year later.
Is it episode 9 when Bix leaves him? Because she leaves Andor because Andor's going to want to get out of the Rebel Alliance.
9 is no. So yes, it is 9. Yeah.
Okay. Because 9, the episode Welcome to the Rebellion, that's when Senator Mon Mothma leaves.
Right. And that's also when Cassian gets K2SO.
Oh, I love the fact how they worked that in here with K2SO.
I guess he gets him in the previous episode, but that's when K2SO gets turned into K2SO.
That was really good too, how they did that. How it's just he gets
great.
attacked. They bring these robots in and they just start fucking people up.
The KX Enforcer droids are so, it's like the extreme violence is like comical of them just grabbing and throwing people and then like smacking to deaths against walls and stuff. And it's just like, it's interesting because like we're seeing people be killed with blasters all the time, but there's something so much more visceral about just a big droid just grabbing you and throwing you at lethal force into a brick wall.
And it's humorous too.
It's humor, but it's so absurd. It's so extreme that it's like absurd and funny. And I love K2SO. And my son, man, he loves K2SO. That is his favorite. He's like, that is my favorite droid ever. My favorite droid in all of Star Wars. Like, yeah, which agreed. Mine too.
I wondered how the humor would work because I knew that, K2SO is kind of comic relief in Rogue One.
Yeah.
I think they did it well. They didn't use it too much. They could have gone overboard with it, but instead they had him in the last arc. They had him be badass and kind of funny at the same time.
Yeah, which he is in Rogue One too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but it was a nice.
They don't use him for much. They don't use him much.
No, which is good because tonally he's kind of a little bit different than Andor. Like Andor doesn't really have a lot of wisecracks and like comic relief.
Right.
But it's good. It's good to have some, and I think it was handled well in the show.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
but yeah, I like this arc because this is where we see Cyril, figure out Dedra's plan, and he's like chokes her. Well, he chokes Dedra for a minute,
right?
And she lets him. She doesn't even really fight back. She like lays there while he's like choking her to death, and then he lets go and lets her live and leaves her. And I was like, man, that's like such a reversal of their roles.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's so much been.
He's the bottom. I mean, she's
throughout
she's higher
in their
rank.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. She's the higher rank. I mean, he doesn't even have a rank, right? He's a civilian employee, and she's this imperial bigwig, and it's very much like she's very much dating down with him, and then to see that the role reverse there is really interesting.
Doesn't he say? Is that in this season? Yeah, it's in the show where he goes and reports to the ISB and he says this might be the greatest day of my life or something.
I think so. Yeah.
I think he says that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so happy.
He's so happy.
Yeah.
He ain't happy for long though.
No.
But I think they're on Gorman for probably a couple years. It doesn't feel like it, but I'm assuming that's what it is.
He's on Gorman it's a year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a year. Well, because he's goes there in Arc 2, and then there's a year between Arc 1 and between Arc 2 and 3.
Okay.
So yeah, he's there for about a year, maybe a little more than a year.
That would give you a lot of time to bond with the people that you're gonna be murdering soon. So yeah.
But he doesn't know that, so
no, he chokes he chokes her when he figures it out.
Right.
So
yeah,
it was all well done.
Oh yeah, so well done.
I didn't watch the Rebel episode, even though I wanted to, because I didn't watch Andor until the whole thing dropped, and then I watched it all. I had kind of just waited. I mean, I don't know. I just wasn't, because I also thought it was being dropped weekly, and I didn't realize it was dropped in chunks. Or I maybe I would have watched it.
Yeah, that's how they did season 1 also, I think.
They started it, I think the first 2 weeks they had 2 episodes apiece. But then
in season 1? No, season 1 they did 3 episodes, and then a 4th episode by itself.
Oh,
Oh, they no. Okay, so I'm looking now. They released the first 3 episodes on September 21st, 2022, and then after that, it was 1 episode a week.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
Disney Plus does it a lot of times. They'll give you a few. They give you a few episodes. It's stuff that they don't trust, like Echo. They dropped all at once for Marvel stuff.
But this one they dropped. Yeah,
It's
one,
weird
two,
to me.
three.
I wonder if they were just like the fiscal year. No, fiscal year would have been ended by now, so this wouldn't affect it. I don't know what the hell they were doing.
They dropped this whole show over the course of 4 weeks.
I'm sure they were nervous it wouldn't be able to replicate the success.
They were worried it was relate a little too much to the current political climate in America.
Well, maybe, but also maybe commercially. Like it's not like a Star Wars show that like the other ones where it has funny alien droids and like lightsabers and stuff.
Yeah.
No, this one is woke in quotations. So
yeah, they might have known there was going to be some backlash. Also, I don't know.
Right. I mean, certainly that could have been, especially. But Trump has never mentioned it, which is interesting. Never said that the woke. You know, they have. I know they hate Disney, or Ron DeSantis hates Disney for other reasons. But anyway,
Star woke. You call it Star woke.
Star woke, yeah.
Woke stars.
I mean, but if Trump would have complained about it, be like, well, that's because you recognized yourself in it. So that's a bad guy.
But he's never been afraid to step in that.
No. Yeah, that's kind of surprising. But no, I guess the cult, I'm sure they bitch about enough on other places.
Yeah.
I love this.
I was going to say, on a different topic, I don't think I realized this last time, or maybe I did, that Tony Gilroy wrote The Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
What is that?
Was this Keanu Reeves lawyer movie where...
with Al Pacino?
Al Pacino is the devil.
Okay, I know of it now, yes.
That movie is silly. I love it. I love that silly movie.
It's very, Tony Gilroy has a long career. He's written, I think, Enemy of the State, Armageddon.
Mm-hmm. Armageddon, the Bourne trilogy.
Bourne trilogy.
He did the trilogy, yeah.
If you know, like, if you watch some of his movies, like, it kind of, you can see his aesthetic for villains, because there's always, like, the villains are always, like, in a big computer room, like, chasing someone.
Oh, yeah.
Like we have his location, sir, or whatever, you know, like, he's going up the third level. And so that's, like, it's a very common theme in his movies. So I was introduced to that in Andor, yeah.
He also, his first movie was The Cutting Edge.
Right,
the ice skating movie.
Yeah, he's been around a while, and he's written some bangers.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm looking at it. I don't see, like, a single... There's some movies here that aren't necessarily for me, like The Cutting Edge, or the direct to DVD sequel, Cutting Edge, going for the gold. But, I mean, other than stuff like that, it's all just like, I mean, Dolores Claiborne, you know, Devil's Advocate, Armageddon, Proof of Life is a good one. Michael Clayton.
Oh, Michael Clayton, yes, yeah.
I've never watched that, but I've heard of it.
Oh, it's so good. You have to watch it as soon as... Yeah, it's an extremely good movie. Extremely good.
George Clooney, right?
Yeah, George Clooney, lawyer movie. I think it's based on a true story. I don't know if it is or not. It definitely has based on a true story energy to it.
It has energy. I don't think it is. It's more of like
it's inspired by.
Yeah.
It was inspired by the Ford Pinto lawsuit.
Right. Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about a chemical company instead of a car company, but it's the same basically idea, where you have a corporation that knew their product was unsafe and killing people, but decided that was fine.
That would never happen. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was like Ford literally had an internal memo where it's like, okay, well, yes, the Pinto does blow up when it gets hit from behind, but this is the thing in Fight Club. They reference it in Fight Club. That we calculate basically we will lose more money in a recall than we would by just paying out settlements to the families. So we're just going to keep the dangerous vehicle out there.
Right. Yeah.
It's just so fucked up and capitalist. And you hear that in like Fight Club, but it's like, no, that's actually what happened. That's the Ford Pinto in the 70s. Which I only know about the Ford Pinto because of Top Secret.
Yeah, it's kind of a joke.
The Val Kilmer movie. The Val Kilmer spy movie.
Right.
Top Secret. They blow up a Ford Pinto in that. And my dad had to explain, and when I was watching it with my dad, because I was like 10, and he explained it to me. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was looking, while y'all were talking about this, I was looking at Tony Gilroy's IMDb.
No, that's fine.
You
should also watch Top Secret, Mike, if you haven't seen it.
Okay. Oh yeah, Top Secret's great. Oh, but it's from the Zucker brothers, right? That did Airplane. Yeah.
The Naked Gun, yeah.
Naked Gun and Airplane and the first Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's them. And so it's one of those absurd, like super absurd comedies like Airplane, but it's all about spy movie stuff, starring Val Kilmer.
Oh, okay, maybe. Not really up my alley, but you never know.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
But I was looking, and Tony Gilroy, he did not write, he only wrote like the first 3 episodes.
Right, yeah.
And then Dan Gilroy wrote the third arc, and then he wrote like 7, 8, 9, and then Tom Bissell wrote the rest of them. Which I don't know.
I do
Tom
like how
Bissell.
they had different people in charge of it. I think that helps it too, actually.
Yeah, and the directors they picked, were interesting because the directors for the first like 5 or 6 episodes was this guy named Ariel Kleiman, who is an Australian director, and I don't know anything about him. Like I've never heard of him. But then Janice Metz, he's a documentarian from Denmark, and so I think that's an interest. He did the Gorman stuff, or specifically the Gorman popping off stuff.
Yeah, that has. I mean, I'm sure that was a choice because it's very like it's kind of like a news footage type thing. Like it's very on the ground.
Exactly.
It's camera. Like you see, they even have reporters there, like the Empire's official reporters or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. And then the last arc is done by Alonso Ruiz Palacios, who is a Mexican film director. I've never seen any of his movies, but
yeah, it's like
the
great.
last arc is so fucking good, though.
Yeah, the last.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Which episode is it when they? Oh no, episode 10. So you have the last arc when Lonnie finally meets up again with Lucen, and he doesn't wear he's not wearing the wig. He is wearing the wig. I think when he meets up with him, he's in his normal costume that he shows to everybody, and he's like, what is this? And that's when he starts talking about how it's like, I had her access all this time, and the energy program is all a lie.
And he actually used the word Death Star. I expected him to say Stardust instead of Death Star. So when he actually said Death Star, I was like, oh, okay, they're not even using the code name.
I mean, I wonder if they were like, that's too Rogue. Maybe you have to be too Rogue One to do it. So
that's what I think. I think they're like, all right, the super fans will know what Stardust is, but we need to make this clear. So
but he says it, and he says it right away, and that begins like the ticking clock, basically. Like we have to get this. He basically like. Lonnie doesn't tell him though that Dedra's onto him, does he?
No, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know that. Yeah. So, but Luthen's like, all right, well, no, this is too big. We're gonna have to. No. I know what it is. It's because since Lonnie and him met out in the open, he's like, all right, no, I'm probably compromised now, so we need to burn this.
Yeah.
We need to burn and get out.
And that's why he kills Lonnie.
Yeah, and then especially since he kills him, now he knows, no, I've got to get off the planet today.
He knows Dedra because he's ready for her when she comes to the office. So he does know he's after her.
So I didn't know what they were
between
going
the two of them. Oh man.
Oh yeah, I was riveted.
When I saw that scene, I was like, okay, maybe she doesn't actually know him yet, like who she is, and she's just there for one reason or another, and then he's gonna, and then when she pulls out that box from season 1, I was like,
the Star Path unit, yeah,
he's fucked.
I know. He looks at it too, and the facade falls away. Right. He's like, oh, okay, no, there's no. I was like, is he gonna try to bullshit and be like, oh, well, I don't know what that is? But no, he's like, no, he knows. He's like, nope, I'm done. I'm done, and I'm gonna go out like a boss. I'm gonna, talk about like hardcore. I'm gonna stab myself to death with this like 40,000-year-old ceremonial knife.
Right.
I mean, he almost kills himself too.
I mean, he's life support.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when they show the life support because it has like a big like pump, like a respirator, but it's just attached to a thing. It's not touching him.
Right.
I guess is what I mean to say. Like, I understand. And also I was like, man, they should have a Bacta tank. And I was like, well, maybe of course they'd have Bacta tanks. Maybe Bacta tanks are like are not good for this kind of injury or whatever. But they showed someone on the same like floor as him in a or one floor down from him in a Bacta tank.
Somewhere nearby.
Also. So I was like, okay, so they definitely have Bacta tanks. So I guess it's just not, his injuries are too bad for that. He needs to be in this like space bed with no tubes or anything. He just has like a thing over him that you assume is like a scanner or something, and it's got that pump going into it, but that's the life support. But anyway, I thought that whole situation, like everything that happened in those like 2 episodes was perfect. Him burning the comm system with that, whatever it was, that acid.
Right.
Her coming in, and I'm like, as soon as she came in, I was like, oh, she knows. She knows. Is she going to reveal she knows, or are they going to dance around it? And then when she reveals that Star Path unit, and and I knew when she did that, I was like, I thought to myself, I was like, he's still got that dagger. He could totally kill her right now. And he turns around and I'm like, oh no, he's going to kill himself, isn't he? And that's what he did. Yeah, which was, it was really great.
But the fact that he doesn't die and that he's on life support, and you have that whole episode with his assistant, who really hasn't been that big of a big of a character. I mean, she's been
in the
around.
back.
But,
yeah, she's been there since the first season. But yeah, and she got more of a role this season. They had her arguing with him multiple times, and then she had the whole thing where she went to the gallery and had to disarm the listening device and all that. But yeah, we get the flashbacks where we see her background with him, and that basically he rescued her as a child and adopted her.
So what war was that? Was that part of the Clone Wars?
Oh, I would say so.
I was just wondering if...
Probably. Yeah, they don't really say, but
the timeline would fit.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just me being a Star Wars geek being like, where is this from?
Yeah, the timeline would fit. I mean, it's too soon for it to have already been the Empire.
Yeah,
so so he was a Republic soldier, but they were already, but they're already committing war crimes, which I thought is good. They're showing like it's not just the Empire, like it was the Republic. Though I honestly think most likely the showrunners were just kind of like, it's the Empire. What's dates? The fans aren't going to realize that. I don't think they were actually trying to say like, oh, the Republic did war crimes too. But
they did.
I guess so. I
assume they would. I mean, well, you watch Clone Wars, they sure as hell do.
Yeah.
Oh, the cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of shady shit that goes on in that. If you think about it from like government perspective, like, oh yeah, they're bad too.
Is there genocide like that in the Clone Wars?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The bug people from
Geonosis.
They're close to genocide, but I think their genocide comes from the Empire. Actually, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm sure there's stuff.
I don't know. I'd be interested, but yeah, they just you hear them like lining them up and then shooting them against a wall and everything, and it's like, Jesus, this is dark. This is real though.
Yeah, that's what happens in war.
Yeah, I mean, we did this in Vietnam, so
yeah. There's a really good documentary about Vietnam, by the way, on Netflix called The Turning Point: The Vietnam War. Really fucking good. I don't know. I didn't know enough about Vietnam War. I found out. I know more now.
Right.
Yeah,
I know more.
I would say I learned most of it by researching it to teach about it, because like I didn't learn much about it in college either.
Otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I had a professor that taught a good deal about it, but I still learned so much more just from reading books about it so that I could teach about it. So yeah.
And I think that when they find out, like after Deidre arrests Luthen and all that stuff, like when she gets arrested too, I thought that was so well done.
Yeah, they're like, no, you fucked up. Why does this dead guy have access to all your files? Why did you give him access? She's like, I didn't. And like, likely story. They think she's a spy.
Right. And
she's like, either you're a spy or you're dangerously incompetent. Which one is it?
Yeah, either way.
Like Krennic says something like that while holding her head in his hands.
Right. Yeah.
And the way he does that is stands behind her and wraps his hands around her temples and is like probably squeezing to a painful degree, but not a dangerous degree, while he's like talking to her. And just, I love that. Like, I love seeing her because the show definitely makes her kind of like a protagonist, not a hero, but a protagonist. We're following her and seeing her struggle against incompetency and stuff and be really smart and cunning and all that the whole show. But she needed to have comeuppance. She needed to have everything fall apart.
Yeah. And it's fitting that she's defeated by the system that she was a part of, instead of like the rebels kill her or whatever,
Exactly.
I mean, that's what fascism does. Fascism eats its own. It's always infighting. And you're always getting dressed down by the next highest person is always dressing down the next lowest person, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was her fate was fitting for the character. And I think the actress, Denise Goff, I forgot, I don't know how to say her last name.
Goff, I think, yeah.
She was like, yeah, this is what the character deserves. She was a dick.
She's great. One thing I kind of superficial, but I really love about her is she is able to make herself really ugly with her facial expressions.
Right. Yeah.
Even though she is a very beautiful woman, but she is able to like screw up her face in such a way that she just looks like just bad, like wrong. I love it. Like she's a really good actress.
Yeah,
she's the voice actress for Yennefer in The Witcher 3.
Yeah, before the show, I did not know anything she did before she was on Andor. So
yeah, me either. Yeah, so she and the actress that play Mon Mothma have been in a couple of movies and TV shows together.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, which I always think is neat.
Well, cool. Kyle Soller was on a show called Poldark. The guy who plays Cyril. And that show has the original actress who played Mon Mothma in Return of the Jedi. show.
That's fun. That's
Which is
funny.
interesting. Just an interesting twist or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, I love how that happens.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is last arc is really good. So they're on Coruscant. Oh, and then they have to extract Clea.
Right.
So
That is good.
So
right. And they disobey orders to do it, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, like they have to sneak off of Yavin 4 by like, and I really like that. And it's Cassian and Melshi, right? Yeah, Melshi, who was in. I'll say he was in Rogue One, right?
He was in Rogue One, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was in the Narkina 5.
Yes.
He was in the prison.
In season 1. He was in the prison with him. He was one of the ones who escaped with him. I think we were supposed to recognize him. I don't know. Like, I didn't. I found that out, like, looking it up later.
I didn't recognize him either. But I mean...
that was the scene where Vel picks up the gun, is like, who does this belong to? Or who belongs to this? And he raises his hand. That was supposed to tell us, oh, that's Cassian's old gun, and this guy had it, so he must know Cassian. Right. And we're supposed to be like, oh, it was the guy from the prison, I guess. But I didn't recognize him.
I didn't recognize it either.
Yeah, it helps to have watched Andor season 1 recently.
Like recently? Yeah. I haven't watched it
3 years ago. Yeah.
3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so him and Melshi and K2SO go to extract her. And I love that they end episode 11 basically on a cliffhanger of the Empire's about to break down their door, or is about to enter their hallway.
That was so well done. Like,
yes. Oh my gosh. And when K2SO walks up and the guy's like, did we call for a security droid? They're like, no, I don't think so. And he's like, hey, are you here for us? And he goes, no. And just knocks him off knocks him over this railing to his death.
Yeah.
Just the casual. No,
it's so good. I love like the scene of him using the Imperial ISB agent as a human shield. He doesn't really need it.
He doesn't even need it because he's blaster proof. Pretty much.
Just wants to.
He just wants to. He just loves violence. But he's like so casual and calm about it, which makes it so funny.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that was so good. And how like Clea doesn't even want to leave. Like, you can't stay here. They know who you are. You're going to be tortured.
Yeah, and you know stuff, so you need to go. Yeah, it's good because she just wants to die there because she doesn't want to live now that Luthen is dead and she's had a hand in killing him. I also love that whole scene of her going into the hospital.
Yeah,
and dressing as a nurse. I love the little like space lockers.
Yeah,
they're just like so inefficient, but it's so like retro sci-fi to have these like just unrealistically inefficient things in common use. I love it.
And we get to see a little alien. We get to see. I think the subtitles call her Granny or something.
Yeah, that was cute.
I love it.
I don't think this is my floor.
Yeah, she's pushing around on the wheelchair.
But again, it's very much the concept of if it looks like you belong there, people will not question you.
Right. Yeah.
And I love how she with the stormtroopers, and like the stormtroopers aren't even wearing masks half the damn time. Like I thought that was interesting too. Like they're just not.
Yeah,
wearing
I
masks.
was wondering if are those not stormtroopers? Those are just like another division of commandos, and they've been given the armor because it's like a high security situation. That's what I was kind of wondering because some of them are wearing like the caps, like the regular, like the black caps with the little like silver button on it, the little pewter button on it, you know. That we see.
Yeah, my take was that it was like a special ops or a SWAT team or something, probably more so than stormtroopers, like a level up.
The guys breaking, the guys going to get Clea were definitely like spec ops.
Oh, you mean
SWAT team?
I'm talking about
but I was just talking about
you see a lot of people.
There's a bunch of soldiers that are just wearing the armor without the stormtrooper helmet, but then there will be actual stormtroopers around also, which makes me think that they're just like regular army. They were issued the armor because of the situation,
right?
Which is also what's the fucking point,
right?
Because stormtrooper armor doesn't even protect you from Ewoks with like spears and stone axes. Like,
hey, running an empire is expensive. You got to make sure you're paying. You know, the most money goes to the top 1%. You only have so much left for the military.
Yeah, it's really funny. Like stormtrooper armor looks interesting. It looks neat, but it doesn't ever throughout all of Star Wars protect anyone.
No, it doesn't.
They make fun of it in Clone Wars. Or Rebels.
It's like, what is even the point of it? And you have Obi-Wan wearing it in the Clone Wars cartoon. And it's like, why even bother? What is this? What exactly is it protecting you from?
In Rebels, when they bring back what is his name? Rex. He
Rex,
mentions about how this armor is way weaker compared to what they had in the Clone Wars.
Mm.
So it
Okay.
referenced throughout the Rebels show and other things that like the Empire got cheap.
Well, yes, but this is all like a cartoon retconning things in the
Yes.
later on. But yes, I get you.
I'm okay with that though. Like they're trying.
No, I mean that's what the Star Wars animated universe is for, is to make up for the bad storytelling in the later movies. So in the prequels mostly.
They tried to make they made the prequels a lot better. I mean, they're trying to make the sequels better, but I don't know if that's one of them they can't make better.
They don't make them better. They just explain them so that they're more palatable. But I know what you're saying.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm being difficult. I'm just being difficult.
It's okay.
Oh,
I know where Rise Skywalker hurt you. It hurt me too. Somehow, your turn. We don't have time to explain it. Somehow,
a friend of mine, his wife is younger, and she'd never seen any Star Wars ever. And so he started showing her the Star Wars movies in chronological order. And she loved the original trilogy. And then they got to episode 1, and she's like, what the fuck is this?
Right, yeah.
I was like, well, there you go. It's not just that we're old people. It's
episode.
No, that's the correct take. Don't listen to the new generations who they try. I mean,
the apologist.
We don't have to go into it, but I think first impressions are right when it comes to the prequels.
Yeah, I mean, the three of us have gone into it.
Yes,
previous episodes of Games My Mom Found.
The host, which will be in the show notes of this, by the way, most of them, because I can only fit so much Star Wars content in the show notes.
We have done a lot of Star Wars content, the three of us.
Yeah, we have.
Yes, we have. Lots of movies. I still got one terrible movie left to cover, the second Ewok movie, but that's my other. I have another team that does that with me.
This is a Rescue on Andor, or so what it's called?
War for Andor, I think.
War for Andor.
I think that's what it's called. I have a picture of it in my phone. Someday got to do it. Yeah, just because. There's no real reason. I'm just like, I want to do this just because I have problems.
Enjoy that.
First one's okay.
But then we get the final episode, Jedha, Kyber, Erso.
That is so good. Like when they finally put it all together, like
so
what's happening.
Everything comes together, yeah. The rebel leadership, they don't believe
Right.
They don't believe Cassian. They're like, yeah, Luthen was a piece of shit. We don't believe anything he did. And he's like trying to be like, you guys wouldn't exist without Luthen, and they don't want to hear that. But Mon Mothma is at least, willing to listen to this.
But she was working with Luthen for so long.
But she was working with Luthen, right? Exactly. So she's like the one who actually trusts Luthen.
Oh, and one brief thing that we forgot to mention in an earlier arc that I want to bring up is that Doctor gets killed, the one that tortured Bix.
Oh yeah, Bix gets to murder him with his own device.
Yeah, that was great. Because like there's even a thing in a different around that time where someone's like, oh yeah, we should bring him along and have him teach other people what he does, so we can use that for other future interrogations. And they fucking just kill him.
The ISB doesn't like that because it's the Navy getting their technology, and they're toil about it.
But they weren't going to murder him for it, like what they do.
No. But I was just saying, like, they're pissed off about it. Like, they don't like this.
That seems like real military, though, too.
Oh no, that's very, very for real.
Yeah, different branches have rivalries with other branches. Yeah, etc.
Yeah, it's and dumb stuff happens because of it.
Right.
Yes, it does. I love that she puts the machine on him to torture him, even though they're about to blow him up anyway.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah, it was great.
And it also, fixes it makes sure we don't have a retcon to saying, oh, why isn't this technology used in episode 4? Because the fucker got killed before he could use it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because Leia might have talked then.
Yeah, right. Because Leia does get tortured.
Right, yeah. They only have the stupid ball or not stupid. They have the interrogation droids.
Yeah.
Those have to do. The
little sodium pentothal needles sticking out of the side and everything.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, I did not understand that, and now I'm like, oh, I hate that. When we watch New Hope and I see that droid, I'm like, oh, I don't like needles a whole lot, so that just bothers me every time.
Yeah, syringe droid.
I don't like the syringe. But so back to the last episode. I mean, isn't that when you have Saw be like, you don't know where I am, and they've now been all over the internet.
Like we know where you are. Like we know
exactly where you are. You're on Jedha. Like,
how do you know I'm not on Jedha? I'm not on Jedha.
He's totally on Jedha.
Yeah, that was great. I was worried they weren't going to bring him back. I was like, I saw him not coming back, but they gave him one last little thing to have, so that's good.
Yeah, but we get the really cool we get the battle of the SWAT team versus K2SO is in this episode, which is just so awesome. He just massacres them. It's so good.
Right.
It's so good. And
I loved that. I loved Partagaz committing suicide.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
Listens to the manifesto It's like, oh, just keep spreading. And they're like, oh, we're ready for you. Assumingly, he's going to be arrested or imprisoned or killed or something.
Right.
I'm
Probably
pretty sure
publicly
he was
executed.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess the writers were told that, or the writers said they didn't want him coming out of the show. Like, they wanted that character put away.
It
yeah.
makes
Needs
because
to be.
he's a pretty high position of power, and he would have shown up again. So they're like, okay, he's the fall guy for everything that happened. So
Yeah. He's basically like he's the step below. I mean, he's like, of what we've seen in the ISB, he's the highest person other than Krennic.
right, yeah.
Which I don't know if Krennic's necessarily ISB, or is he? He's
I think so. I think
so.
when we mentioned Wolf Ularen, I think he's the head of the ISB, and he wears the
is
white.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy who's on. Yeah, so he's the head.
Krennic wears the white also.
Yes.
But he's like the head of weapons or something. He's the director of weapons research or something.
Yeah,
And
he's
I
director
think Wolf
Krennic,
Ularen is actually in the original trilogy.
Yeah, was retconned to be on the Death Star. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's like, they found a guy with a white suit, and they're like, that's
yeah,
Wolf
and they just
Ularen.
said, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. But no, he's not. Yeah. But yeah, I love I also love just like ending a series on a montage.
Right, yeah.
And I love the montage at the end. I love we see B2 Emo playing like with another droid, like they're playing like kids.
Right.
You know, they're racing, and he goes, "One more, and I win."
They knew that audiences wanted to know about BMO. They were like, we have to know if BMO's okay.
Yeah.
So they knew to put that in there at least. Yeah.
And then you get and then one of the last scenes is seeing Bix with Cassian's baby.
Right.
Oh yes. Right.
It just holds for a moment, then it goes to black, and I'm like, what a way to end it. Yeah.
Yeah. And we have Cassian and K2SO flying to Kafrene, which is where the Rogue One starts.
Yeah.
Murder that guy.
Present time of Rogue One starts. Yeah, where he murders the guy, which they're going to go meet a guy there. They say we're meeting a rebel informant there. That's one of Saw Gerrera's guys.
I mean, it makes sense now that we see like, oh, that's a brutal killing that he does. The first time we're introduced to Andor is him killing a guy, but he does that throughout the show now.
Yeah.
Learn from Ethan. Yeah.
Oh, the stuff we didn't really talk about, but when he takes Mon Mothma out of the Senate, and he just you have like the ISB agent that's acting like they're part of the group and murdering people, and then he just shoots her right in the face.
He shoots the driver. He's like, we found, what's his name? And he tells her, he's like, oh, we found her. We got her. And then just shoots him point blank. And Mon Mothma's horrified.
Like, what do you think was going to happen?
Right. It's, it's messy. That's what war is. It's messy.
Yeah, that's what rebellion is.
You got to kill unarmed people sometimes if you're a rebel. So.
Yeah, and also, I was just looking up something. So Kafrene, right? The planet, the ring of Kafrene, the mining colony where Rogue One starts off. The first episode of this season, when he meets that Imperial engineer, that helps him steal the Avenger.
Yes.
Right.
She tells him the password is Kafrene.
Oh, okay.
So and we all immediately memory hold that because it's like, okay, that doesn't matter, right? The password's Kafrene.
I didn't pick up.
I didn't either, but yeah, I was reading something that was like, and Kafrene's a password, and I was like, oh yeah, it actually is. I remember that now that you say that.
First episode didn't even stick with me at all. So
I was just so
rewatch the show.
Andor again. I was so hyped. Yeah. Anyway,
the Star Wars XCOM type game that's coming out next year, allegedly.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars Zero Company. That's set on Kafrene.
Oh, interesting.
It's like where your squad is like based out of Kafrene.
Huh. I'm
allegedly.
Curious.
I mean, I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it. It's an EA Star Wars game. They've had success with their last two, or the last few. So yeah, I think it'll happen.
Fair.
I think it'll happen. I don't know what studio's developing it, but
it was nice to finally get.
It'd be cool if it's for Access.
I did miss Andor too, Peter. I was with you. Like, I didn't realize how excited I watched this show so quickly. Like, I just couldn't put it down.
Yeah,
so enjoyable.
Yeah, it was torture for me. Because I would watch an episode and be like, "All right, you want to watch the next one?" So I'm like, "Oh no, we'll watch it later." I'm like, all right.
No, I can't imagine because when these aired, I was like, I can't wait. Like, skip the credits. Let's go right to the next episode.
It's good on social media because I'm sure things were getting ruined left and right.
Yeah,
spoiled for me, but not much.
The only thing I wish I hadn't seen, I did see somebody must have leaked a picture of Dedra in Luthen's office with pointing. So I saw that before the episode. Like, It must have been a production still or something, but I was like, I wish I hadn't seen it because, like, okay, now I know that Dedra's gonna arrest Luthen, or at least try to. That's the only thing that got spoiled for me. So
okay, that's a little shitty. Nothing. Actually,
That is.
even though I waited to watch it, nothing was spoiled for me that I realized at least.
that's good.
Yeah, ever since Kylo Ren got spoiled for me back in like 2017 or whatever, I'm like very like try to avoid anything, no trailers, nothing for Star Wars stuff. So
Fair.
I told that story on this podcast.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Still the same stories. I mean,
Yeah.
I do all the time too. That's podcasting.
Yeah, no. So I don't have any. The only thing I had spoiled is not really spoiled because it's like obvious. Is I knew that K2SO was going to be in this season.
Oh
I
yeah,
heard that, but I'm like, well, yeah, duh. Like he better be. Like,
Right.
be angry if they
no
had
sense.
this whole season we never find out where K2SO came from.
I mean, they had to set that up. Like you had
Yeah.
to set up Rogue
It
One.
wasn't really a spoiler so much as like, well, yeah, of course K2SO is going to be in the season.
I mean, we knew that this season was going to lead up to up to Rogue One starting pretty much, and it does because the last scene is him leaving to go to Rogue One. Diego Luna did such a good job as Andor, though. Like,
Oh, it's so good, so good.
I think originally it was announced that Andy Serkis was coming back, but for whatever reason they didn't go that route, which is good. But
Yeah,
I think
no, if he came back, he'd need to be playing a different character.
right, which would be so funny. It would be incredibly funny bit.
Just it would not be okay for him to be playing the same character from the last
'cause
season.
there's no way that guy survived.
No,
I mean,
it would be dumb.
They left it ambiguous, which I think is good.
Yes,
Because
but
I can't.
when the military comes back, they're not going to be like, oh, it's okay, you started a riot. No,
Right.
it's going to be blaster to the face. We're done with you. There's no way. There's no way they were going to let any of those people live after what happened.
Right.
So random fun fact: Diego Luna, the year before he was in Rogue One, his movie that he did before Rogue One was a horror movie called The Bad Batch. So I thought that was funny.
And it's kind of funny.
And he's not credited either, but he was in it.
I don't know anything I remember watching Rogue One. I didn't give a shit about those characters, and now I'm like, oh, they really made me care about Andor. Like, I have a Funko Pop of Andor that I only bought because it was on clearance at Target for like $3, and Tiff's like, you should buy this. I'm like, well, maybe he'll come to something. I'll get it signed. And now I'm like, maybe I have that.
I mean, Andor was the show I was the least excited about when they announced it. They announced it like 2020, and they announced at the same time they did like Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. And I was like, oh, Andor, who cares? But little did I know.
That's true, right? Because Rogue One is my, fourth favorite Star Wars movie, and so I love Rogue One, but I'm like, yeah, but I don't know that I really care about Cassian Andor's backstory. Like, this seems it felt like whenever I heard it was coming out, I was like, yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. But like, really, like, it feels like a stretch. And it's so good. It's the best thing Star Wars has done since the original trilogy to me. It's better than Rogue One even to me.
Yeah, I think that's
fair. I'd have to agree.
I don't think anything even comes close except for Rogue One.
No,
but it's so much better than Rogue One because Rogue One is such a compromised movie. As much as I love Rogue One, it's chopped and screwed in the editing bay without the director's input, and it's you can tell. And but this show is just so good, and it's a vision from like a really great director and writer, or showrunner and writer, And I love that. Like, yeah, there's really nothing better. Like, it's so much, like, I love The Mandalorian. This is so much better than The Mandalorian to me.
Right, I agree.
Yeah. The Mandalorian is popcorn. This is like cinema. You know?
And this sets up so much, and it was really damn good. I think this season was better than season one, but I also don't remember season one as well because I didn't rewatch it.
Yeah, I have a hard time deciding.
Peter, you watch both. What do you think?
I think this one has... I think the season one is a little bit more consistent with like not having as much stuff that I don't know is I want to say dragging, but I think it's more consistent in there was moving things along. But I feel like the highs in season two are better. Like the last couple episodes in this are like so tense. I don't know if there's as much tension in like a single episode of season one. Although the prison escape episode is like very good, and I think the episode where they raid the Imperial outpost is really good.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. They're both really good. It's hard to say. I think I do like two a little better, but it's hard. It's hard for me to decide.
Okay. And two is brand new too, so there's that.
Right.
Too.
I'm still thinking about two. I mean, it's the payoff. It's the payoff of everything that happened in season one. So
yeah,
I don't know.
We got what we were waiting for.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah. So glad we did too.
Right.
I know people are all joking about Rogue One now, being like, "Hey, now where's Rogue 2?"
Well, I don't know if they've explored right after the Death Star blows up. They could do a series like what happens to the Empire, or what happens, when do they leave Yavin and stuff. I'm sure they'd have a book or a comic book about that, but I'd be interested in a TV show about.
Yeah, I'd love an Andor style TV series of the rebels that aren't Han and Luke and Leia and Chewbacca.
Right.
What about those Bothan spies that steal the Death Star plans of the second one?
The second Death Star could be another series, because they haven't really done the Bothans. I mean, they mentioned that in Shadows of the Empire, but it was kind of a stupid thing in my opinion. So,
and it's not canon anymore, or whatever's mentioned that. So
exactly. Right. So there's new weird things to explore. Tony Gilroy, for listening, here's new show ideas.
Yeah, I'd love to see some stuff set during the Galactic Civil War.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you run into the issue of people like, we want to put Luke in here. No, you stay away. Like,
yeah, stay away from that completely, please.
You could show like Han Solo from behind, like he's in a crowded room and like you see the vest, you just see him walk past the. I don't know. You could do it, just don't.
That I'm okay with, but you
just
don't like.
Don't have him speak and don't show us his face too much.
Right, exactly. I don't know. Away. That's a whole nother thing, but I could go off. I've designed shows in my head, and only I was working at Disney.
I don't even know what our next show even is that we're getting.
Darth Maul? Isn't that the show? Isn't there a Darth Maul TV show?
Not that I'm aware of.
There is. No, there is.
Oh, they're actually making one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm all for that.
It's a new animated show. Yeah.
I'm fine with that too.
Oh.
No issue there. I love the animated stuff also.
So you can have that to look forward to. I don't know when that's coming out. It hasn't filmed yet, or it's not even started. So
yeah, it'll be a while. I mean, I'm okay with that. But I am curious what we get next live action. Acloyte's canceled. This is finished. Ahsoka eventually is supposed to have another season.
Oh yeah, that will
someday. I want more of that. We're supposed to get a Mandalorian Grogu movie at some point.
I mean, that's definitely coming.
That's coming this year, I think.
I think next year. I do think next year.
I think I think it is next year too.
It's so long from when the Mandalorian was on the air. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. I'll go see it in theaters, and I'll be excited. But,
yeah, that's true.
So, but yeah, who knows at this point? But I'm kind of I don't know what's coming up. I mean, I do know I have there's still one more Star Wars show for me to watch animated and record about Tales of the Underworld. We got that to do, Kerry, at some point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was looking at Kevin Feige on IMDb and looking at his upcoming, and it's all Marvel. So I don't know if he's doing anything with Star Wars right now.
I thought he was just the Marvel guy for Disney.
Is he just the Marvel guy? He's just Marvel?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've lost so much interest in Marvel stuff.
He's got 20 Marvel things coming up.
Sure they are.
Allegedly.
I mean, hell, Thunderbolt just bombed for them, even though Thunderbolt is actually a really good movie.
Yeah, Thunderbolt's dominated the box office for 2 weeks. And still it's considered a bomb because things are so fucking expensive now. And they also want everything to make $1 billion. And it's like, you're never getting that again. You're never getting that in-game magic. You need to
wait till
dial it back a little bit. Wait
till Avengers Doomsday. Apparently, the rumor is that it has to make $2.5 billion to even break even. So, hey, good fucking luck with that one.
Yeah, like I'm looking at Thunderbolts, and it had its estimated 180 million budget, and it made 370 billion so far, and that's million. So it's just doubled its budget, and doubling the budget is a bomb now. Like, it's ridiculous.
Movies need to figure their shit out. These producers.
Yeah, but anyway.
Any last thing to say about Andor?
No, I think
it's the best thing in Star Wars in at least 30 years.
Yeah.
35 years, 40 years. It's the best thing in Star Wars in 40 years.
You don't consider that one the best Star Wars thing? Is Attack of the Clones?
I mean, I'll admit it, Andor does not have one single lightsaber.
That was good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Right.
I didn't miss it.
Very good thing.
I did enjoy Acloyte, even though that show was nowhere near as good as this, and we'll never get a season 2 of that damn show. I'm still upset about that. See, this show didn't end on a cliff. Well, I mean, kind of ended on a cliffhanger, but a cliffhanger we already have answered. Acloyte ended on a cliffhanger I'll never get answered.
There'll be a comic book about it,
and I will read said comic. I want said comic book, actually, but yes. All right, I think we should go to shelf stacker box for this season.
Yeah.
Peter, why don't you bring us in?
Put on the shelf. It's really great. Was riveting television. It
was
well written. It's very timely. Has so many good things, in it. I just want to say, like, everything about it is well, like the acting, the cinematography, the writing, everything is well done. So it's one of those rare things where it all comes together, especially rare for a Disney Star Wars show or any Star Wars show. So yeah, Andor season 2, great. Excellent.
All right. Carrie.
Oh yeah, put it on the shelf for sure. This is amazing. I want to watch it again soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I'll go that. I'm putting it on the shelf too. This was brilliant. Obviously, like I'm so glad that it came out. I'm so glad that we got the band back together, all three of us again, to record something Star Wars. It's been a few years, all three of us, or been at least a year.
Yeah.
I mean, both of you have been on the show together, but not for
Star Wars.
A Star Wars thing, and not just us three. I know the last time we were together, I think we even talked about doing Star Trek at some point. Yeah, I'm still thinking about Star Trek.
I'd love to do Star Trek movies, TV show. Just pick our 5 favorite episodes of TNG or something.
We would start with the movies just because I would knock out the movies because they're easy to do.
I can do it. I can do it.
And when I mean the movies, I mean the original movies, the not the Jason Abrams movies.
Not the J.J. Abrams? Okay.
I mean
they're okay.
We can just do all like, 12, 13 movies.
But I would start in order. They come out.
Yeah, just do them in chronological order. Yeah.
So we'll see. But that's an idea I always have. All right, I forgot we got one this year, Star Trek Section 31. I completely forgot that existed.
What?
So did most people. It was a Paramount Plus movie.
Oh, okay.
It didn't do good, right?
It didn't go to like theaters.
No, it did not go to theater. I think it got terrible reviews too.
That's what I think.
I'm sure it did. Oh, is it with Michelle Yeoh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, y'all, we've established how much I love Michelle Yeoh, but she is fucking terrible on Star Trek Discovery. It is not. That is not her playing the like mustache twirling anti-hero villain turned protagonist is not her forte.
Yeah, I agree.
On point. That's one of the things I've thought about with us. So we'll see. I do so much content, so we'll see. But it's always been in the back of my mind. All right, I guess we should just wrap this up. Oh, Kerry, where can people find you at?
Hey, I'm on Twitch and YouTube at Keroseta, Keroseta. Lately, what I've been doing is playing through the Dark Souls trilogy, doing 100% bosses with different builds, and then putting together a kind of YouTube playlist of just, if you want to just watch a mostly silent long play of me beating all the Dark Souls games with interesting different builds than what you've probably done before, then check it out.
And Peter.
You can find me, the first novel is called The Fifth Civilization. You can find it through Amazon. You can find it by Googling. It's the first of a trilogy, so the trilogy is entirely out too. So read the Fifth Civilization trilogy if you want a great space opera.
It's excellent. Love it.
Thank you.
I really love the first book, but I don't read. But I do want to someday.
Someday.
I just don't read. It's not you, it's me. I just don't read books. Lately, I haven't read comics lately. I haven't read anything. So yeah.
Except your phone.
Okay, I do read a lot on there. Yeah.
I started going to the library again recently, so I'm getting back into reading a little bit.
Nice. Reading is fundamental, people.
I read Facebook. That's it.
Oh gosh,
I don't read anything else. Terrible. I watch movies with subtitles. Does that count in any shape or form?
Yeah, I'll allow it.
All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, there's over 800 other episodes of this podcast. Everything we do is on Podbean. If you want to hear the rest of our Star Wars content, all the Star Wars content will be in the show notes. So definitely go check that out. We've done over like 50, 60 episodes of Star Wars stuff at this point. So I'm still doing more. So yeah, go check that out. If you want to support the show, we do have Patreon, a little dark vote in our Patreon polls. We have 1 to 2 polls a month. Great way to support the show. Great way to affect the show because some stuff in the polls doesn't come back because it's not stuff I actually want to do, but I will do it if it wins. If you want to be a part of the show, if you want to suggest things for the show, we have a Discord. Please join the Discord. It's free, and I'm always happy to have new people to chat with, so you can join that. I want to give a shout out to my awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Hasfree. You can follow her on TikTok and Instagram, and check out A Gamer Looks at 40 with Bill Tucker. He's talking Final Fantasy, and check out absolutely the best podcast of Work in Progress. They talk about the MCU movies and MCU adjacent movies. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, TikTok, and rate and reviews wherever you get your podcast. I think that's everything I need to say, so we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And the Force be with you.